Your husband is incredibly handsome. He's too good for you. I match him better. I should steal him away. My best friend Patricia suddenly blurted out these words. Even though she's my best friend, I never imagined she would say such a thing. My name is Mary, and I'm about to turn 30 this year. I've been married to my husband Robert for 3 years. We live together with our 1-year-old daughter Elizabeth and my mother-in-law Linda. Robert and I are still as close as we were when we first got married. He's extremely handsome, with an impeccable and kind personality. He's a husband I'm truly proud of. However, with a handsome face and a kind personality, it's natural to worry about other women not leaving him alone. But I have a strong support in my life. That's Linda, my mother-in-law. Good morning, Mary. The weather is lovely today, isn't it? Good morning, Linda. Yes, it's really pleasant weather. Linda is elegant and calm. Initially, I thought she was a stern person, but she turned out to be very kind and always listens to what I have to say. We started living together just before my father-in-law passed away. Many people struggle with mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflicts, but Linda is so dependable that it's not a concern for me. Actually, I lost my parents in an accident when I was just a few months old. With no relatives to take me in, I was raised in an orphanage. Having no real concept of what a mother is, Linda's presence has been significant in my life as a wife. She must be what a warm mother feels like. Mary, it's a nice day. Why don't we go out somewhere? Let's take Elizabeth for a walk. There's a festival at the nearby park today. You know about it, right? Yes, I do. I wanted to go too. If Linda wants to go, I'm more than happy to join. So we decided to go to the festival happening nearby. The park had food stalls with hot dogs, popcorn, shooting galleries, and ring toss games for children. Elizabeth will be able to play these games in a few years. That'll come sooner than you think. Kids grow up fast, and that means we're getting older too. Linda gently held Elizabeth's hand, probably looking forward to her granddaughter's growth. That day, we enjoyed eating popcorn from the stalls and had leisurely conversations with Linda on the park benches. The next day, something happened. The doorbell rang in the afternoon. Who could that be? I opened the door to find Patricia, my best friend, standing there. Patricia, what brings you here so suddenly? I came from far away. I'll just come in. This is Patricia. She transferred to my elementary school midterm. We went to the same middle school and were especially close friends. We went to different high schools but kept in touch regularly, and as adults, we went out for meals a few times a year. She's an irreplaceable best friend to me. Though she's always been a bit presumptuous, entering others' homes casually or using their things because we're close. Now we're both respectable adults. Such things don't bother us anymore, and we can talk freely. That day, Linda was at the community center, so I could easily invite Patricia into the house. So, it's rare for you to come over so suddenly. Is something up? My husband is on a business trip right now. I don't have kids yet and had nothing to do today, so I came to visit you, Mary. Saying that, Patricia stood up, looked at a photo of me and my husband on the living room table and said, Mary, is this your husband? I answered yes, and Patricia's eyes sparkled. He's handsome. Looks like a model. My husband is indeed handsome, but to say he looks like a model might be a stretch. I didn't say anything as people have different tastes, but Patricia seemed overly enthusiastic. Weren't you at my wedding? Did you forget? I had a relative's funeral and couldn't attend your wedding. But I had no idea your husband was this handsome. I should have skipped the funeral and gone to your wedding. Patricia has always had a habit of saying extreme things. But this time her comment felt particularly inappropriate, and I felt the need to caution her. Patricia, you shouldn't even joke about that. Laughing about a relative's misfortune is unacceptable. Then Patricia retorted, "What's the matter, Mary? You're a bit stiff because you don't have parents, right? I wasn't serious. But maybe I was, in a way." "What do you mean?" I couldn't understand what Patricia was serious about for a moment. But seeing her smiling at the photo of me and my husband, I felt a chill down my spine. Then Patricia uttered something unbelievable. "I wish I had married someone as handsome as him. What's his name?" "His name is Robert." When I told her my husband's name, Patricia seemed even more pleased. "I want to marry a Robert too." She started saying things that made no sense, so I tried to stay calm and respond. "Even if you say that, Robert is my husband." "I'm just saying I should have married a handsome man. My husband looks like a raccoon. In comparison, Robert is handsome. He doesn't suit you. He suits me better. Maybe I'll steal him from you." I started to get angry at her remarks. "What are you saying, Patricia? Were you always like this? Is there something wrong in your marriage? Are you not getting along with your husband?" "It's nothing special, just a normal husband with an income appropriate for his age, and a face like a raccoon. But it's not so bad that I can't stand him." "But the more I look at Robert, the more handsome he seems. I like this kind of face." After a long absence, I had a talk with Patricia, but she made so many rude comments that I stopped the conversation and asked her to leave. "What's wrong with you, Mary? You're so mean. I'll come again. Say hello to Robert for me." Patricia said that and left. I couldn't understand what she meant by saying hello to Robert, but since she had always been clingy, I decided to warn Robert about her when he got home. However, the situation turned out to be more serious than I expected. In the evening, my husband came home. "I'm home. I'm starving. Mary, I need to talk to you." Robert sat down in the living room chair and continued. "Just before I got home, a woman asked me for my contact information, saying, 'It's okay because I'm Mary's friend, and if you ask Mary later, she'll know immediately.'" "Is that true?" I was so surprised by my husband's story that my voice cracked. "Yeah, it's true. She even asked me out for a meal." "Did you exchange contact information?" I casually asked, thinking my husband and Patricia had exchanged numbers. "Of course not. I can't be sure she's really Mary's friend. I remember Patricia from your previous story, so I thought it might be her, but I made an excuse and declined. She was strangely insistent." "I see, that's good. But she seems to really like you. Patricia came to the house at noon today, and I let her in because it had been a while. She saw the photo in the living room and seemed to like it. Patricia has always liked handsome men, so it's not surprising." My husband started talking with a happy expression after hearing my story. "I'm flattered that she thinks I'm so handsome. Are you worried about me, Mary?" "Of course I'm worried. You're handsome, tall, and have a great personality. It's only natural to be concerned if such a wonderful husband is targeted by another woman." I blurted out my true feelings. "I'm flattered by your compliments, but don't worry. I love my family the most. I would never betray Mary or Elizabeth." "Thank you, that's just like my husband." I was so touched by his words that I almost cried. However, I still felt anxious. It was too fast for Patricia to visit her best friend after a long time, fall in love at first sight with her husband's photo, and then wait near the house to exchange contact information on the same day. I decided to be cautious about Patricia, thinking she might do something else in the future. My bad feeling was right. Patricia continued to wait for Robert to return home, trying to talk to him or get his contact information by saying she needed advice. One day, as winter was approaching, Robert came home and said, "Mary, look at this." He handed me a hand-knitted scarf. "It seems Patricia made it for Robert." "Is this from Patricia to you?" "Yeah. I hesitated to accept it, but it felt wrong to refuse it. Robert, bless him, can't say no to anyone, so we end up accepting things like this. Got it, I'll keep it for now. We'll talk about it properly later. Robert seemed convinced, but his expression was stiff. A few days later, after shopping with Robert, we ran into Patricia. It was probably not a coincidence. Mary, Robert's not just handsome, but also kind-hearted. I'm really taken with him. I'm serious about Robert. Can you leave us alone for a while? I couldn't understand what she was saying. What are you thinking? Robert is my husband. So what? If Robert prefers me, it's fine, right? Maybe in a few days I'll be the girlfriend of Mary's husband. Exciting, isn't it? Lately, every time I meet Patricia, it's this kind of talk. I'm fed up. She may have fallen for Robert at first sight, but she doesn't realize he's not interested. It's really troubling for my husband. I wonder why I've been friends with someone like her for so long. I didn't discuss this with Linda, who lives with us, to avoid worrying her unnecessarily. But Linda was shopping with us that day and seemed to overhear our conversation. She was hiding behind us. Mary, who is that woman? Talking about liking Robert and wanting to be alone with him? I couldn't ignore what I heard. I hesitated, but since she overheard, there was no point in hiding it anymore. Actually, she's an old friend from my student days. The other day when you were at the community center, she came over. She fell for Robert after seeing a photo, exchanged contact info, invited him to dinner, gave him a hand-knitted scarf, and even told me to break up with Robert. It's been a daily thing. Really tough. I had no idea it had gotten to this point. Linda was quite shocked. But it's okay, Robert won't be fooled. He promised me that family comes first. I hope nothing happens. I can't just ignore that woman. Linda seemed different than usual. Then she said to me, "If that woman says something weird to Robert again, will you tell me?" Of course, I'll let you know. Linda is usually calm and kind, but she can't stand troublesome people like Patricia. For a few weeks, Patricia did nothing. I thought she had given up on Robert. But then, when I was out with Linda and my daughter, we ran into Patricia at a restaurant entrance. Mary, long time no see. I miss seeing you. So, have you given up on Robert? I'm working hard to become your husband's new wife. She hadn't given up on my husband. I sighed heavily. Patricia, fantasize all you want, but my husband and I are still close. It's not a fantasy. I won't give up. Every time I meet Patricia, I feel more exhausted. But Linda, overhearing our conversation, confronted Patricia with a changed expression. So you're the deluded woman trying to become Robert's wife. Let me tell you, it's not easy to be his wife. The daily work is tough and there's a lot of physical labor. With those thin arms, can you handle it? Once you marry Robert, there's no escaping. We'll make sure to have a written contract. If you're prepared for that, go ahead and try to be his wife. Wait, who is this woman? Coming at me like this? Could she be Robert's mom? Patricia was overwhelmed by Linda's assertiveness. Mary, is it really that tough? It's more than tough. I wake up at 4 a.m., clean the floors, make breakfast, and then weed the garden. We have a home garden, so we spread kitchen waste in the soil as fertilizer. As I continued, Patricia's face grew pale. Mary, isn't it hard living like this every day? What I just said is just a fraction of it. I carefully prepare meals, making sure to include over 10 types of food for proper nutrition, counting calories too. Then I wake up Elizabeth, send Robert to work, drop Elizabeth at daycare, and do yoga with Linda. As Linda nodded in agreement, Patricia turned pale and said, Unbelievable! Such a life in this era? She was in a panic. I also clean the house thoroughly. After preparing lunch, I tend the home garden and prepare dinner. If anything's missing, I go shopping, walking, or cycling for health. Of course. Think you can handle it? Patricia looked down defeated. Then my husband arrived at the store. Sorry for the wait. I managed to get off early today. Haven't you ordered yet? Patricia, meeting her scheduled husband, exclaimed loudly, Robert, it's terrible. Your mother is bullying me. I was just telling Patricia about my daily routine. My husband, serious, said, Speaking of which, yesterday's meal had only 9 ingredients, 1 short. Robert, you're counting too? Patricia was shocked at his response. I put finely chopped carrots in the hamburgers. Didn't you notice? That makes 10. You're amazing, my wife. Patricia watched our conversation in astonishment. What's with this couple? So, what did you want, Patricia? When I asked if it was the same as before, Patricia reacted differently. I can't bear such a life. I give up on Robert. Don't say that. I find this life tough too, sometimes wishing someone would take over. Why not try swapping with you? Patricia shivered. No way, I can't live like that, she whispered. I can't believe you gave up so easily after chasing Robert every day, I said teasingly. Patricia ran away hurriedly. Running away without hearing everything, she's impatient. I'm grateful to Mary every day. She grows a splendid home garden, providing us fresh produce. It's my pleasure. There was more to the story. I've always dreamed of having a home garden since my student days. But it wasn't just that. My husband and Linda appreciated the vegetables from the garden. Ever since marrying Mary, I felt great. My health checkup results improved, and my skin's better. Friends say I look younger. Mary's not just good at cooking, but also laundry and cleaning. It's rare to find someone who enjoys household chores so much. I blushed at Linda's praise. When I got married, I declared, health of those I live with is paramount, and asked Linda and my husband to avoid unhealthy habits. That's why I enjoy my current life. Patricia left without hearing the whole story, already confused. Unlikely she'll approach my husband again. I've seen her in town since, but she never speaks to us. We're no longer close friends. I didn't want to be friends with someone so out of touch. Months passed, and Linda's 70th birthday approached. Robert, Linda, and I were discussing the party. I had a surprise announcement. I have something to say. What is it? Go ahead. I hesitated deliberately. Mary, go on. What happened? Linda seemed worried. Actually, I want to abstain from alcohol at the party. I touched my belly with my right hand. Mary, are you? Really, Mary? I nodded slightly. Robert and Linda cried with joy. I was pregnant with our second child. I need to step up more. I'll help with the garden from now on. I can't afford to get bedridden at my age. Mary, don't overdo it. Let me know if I can help. I teared up at their words. It was a wonderful day, making me grateful again for marrying Robert.